joining us tonight. Let's begin with, if I may, the timeline moving forward with the impeachment inquiry. Nancy Pelosi said on Friday that public hearings would start this month. The hope is to have a vote on impeachment by the end of the year. Is there a deadline in your mind, sir, where it becomes much more complicated for Democrats to push forward with the inquiry, especially for those running for president?
Eamon, I hope we can have the vote before the end of the year. I expect the public hearings to last till about Thanksgiving, and then we should have the vote before we adjourn for the year. The evidence is overwhelming. The House will vote to impeach, and then it's up to the Senate to vindicate and stand up for the Constitution.
Let me, sir, get your thoughts about what you want the American public to know from what you and your Democratic colleagues voted to pass the resolution that lays out the rules for the impeachment inquiry into President Trump. You're also a member of the House Oversight Committee, one of the committees leading the investigation. Talk to us about what is it that you want your constituents to know about this.
The American people should know that this will be a very fair process, a transparent process, and the president is going to have more rights than either President Nixon or President Clinton had. He's going to have lawyers present who can cross-examine witnesses. He's going to be able to provide evidence. He's going to be able to ask questions. It's going to be an orderly process. There are going to be a few witnesses, and it's going to focus on the simple fact that the president has already admitted that he abused his office by pressuring Zelensky to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, and he withheld aid if Zelensky didn't investigate his political rival.
I want to play for you, sir, a soundbite when you appeared on this program back on September 22nd, and you actually made this prediction. Watch.
Here's what makes it different. This is forward-looking. This is something that he's trying to do for the 2020 election. We're no longer relitigating the past, and that's why I think many Democrats, even those who were reluctant about impeachment, are now much more concerned.
So your prediction, sir, was in fact true. There was a shift of reluctant Democrats that are now more concerned. You can also argue that that was echoed among the American public at large as we see growing appetite for this impeachment inquiry to move forward. Talk me through what you've seen since you made that prediction 6 weeks ago.
Well, I'm glad the clip was one where I was right. I'm sure there are plenty where I was wrong. But the point is that many Democrats believe that this is about our national security. This is about making sure that no president can threaten a foreign leader and say, investigate my political rival or I'm not going to give you aid. It's so blatant. I mean, it's so obvious that we don't want a president of the United States using the levers of power to benefit himself. And that's why this has unified all Democrats, moderates, progressives, liberals, all believe that we have a duty to uphold the Constitution.
Congressman, let me get your reaction to President Trump going after the whistleblower himself. There was some news involving the whistleblower today because on one hand, you have his legal team saying, I should say his or her legal team saying that the whistleblower would be willing to answer Republican questions in writing under oath. At the same time, you have the president attacking the whistleblower, attacking Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, saying that the whistleblower, where is the whistleblower, and saying that Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, who's now become central in all this, is a never-Trumper. What do you make of these attacks on these individuals by the commander-in-chief?
It's very sad. It's very sad. I mean, Mr. Vindman was awarded the Purple Heart. He's someone who has served our nation, and he's just telling the truth as he understands it. To be attacked by the most powerful person in the world is unconscionable. And the whistleblower, the same thing. I mean, he's the one who is just sharing facts. The reality is the whistleblower isn't even central to the case. I mean, the president has gone on national television and basically admitted that he has asked for other countries to investigate Joe Biden. They basically admitted that he was willing to withhold this aid to get the investigation. Their defense is that this is constitutional, that the president should have absolute power to be able to conduct foreign policy in whatever way they see fit. And I just don't have that view of the Constitution. I believe we live in a republic where the president's powers are limited. He's not a monarch. He's not a king. And that's really what this boils down to.
Let me switch gears for a moment, if I can, sir. Ask you about your state of California. It has been reeling a little bit with all the wildfires that have taken place out there. The president has been criticizing California's Governor Gavin Newsom. In fact, let me show you these two sound bites of what the president has said over the past year about the governor.
And I know Gavin's committed. We're all committed. I'm committed to make sure that we get all of this cleaned out and protected. I was with the president of Finland, and he said we have a much different. We're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem.
The governor doesn't know. He's like a child. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I've been telling him this for 2 years. They've got to take care of it. Every year, it's always California. It's rarely somebody else or someplace else.
So the first soundbite that he was praising the governor of California, talking about Finland, that was 1 year ago. The one where he referenced the governor as a child, telling him he's been telling him to clean this up for the past 2 years, that was today. What is your reaction to the president talking about the wildfires in your state?
Eamon, there are people in my state whose homes are burning. There are people who are without power, hospitals that are without power. It is outrageous that the president of the United States, instead of comforting those individuals, instead of offering relief to those individuals, is playing politics and attacking the governor. And here's the facts. The president isn't even aware of what's causing the fires. The fires aren't being caused by forest fires. They're fires in vegetation, and they're fires because power lines have fallen. And they're because of this federal government's systematic underinvestment in the smart grid, systematic underinvestment in forest management. So it's just really sad that we have a president of the United States who can't even come together in moments of crisis.
Thoughts and prayers are with all the communities out there that are being affected in these very difficult times. As you mentioned, people's homes and livelihoods are being destroyed as a result of this. Congressman Khanna, thank you very much, sir, for joining us.